Hello and welcome back to So Into That, the podcast where I chat with really cool people about the things that we are so into right now. I must first start this episode by saying a big happy birthday to my first child. It is Mattis Hodgen's birthday today, everybody. Mattis turns 5 today. And this is my third time trying to record this intro because I keep tearing up even saying that. I am the type of mother who really mourns the passing of each phase. Well, not each phase, like body training can go to hell. There are many phases of childhood and babyhood that can really go to hell. But I really mourn like the passing of time with kids. I love babies. I love everything about them. I love holding them. I love feeding them. Even the bad parts, like even the crying and the madness and the screaming and the wrestling that is going on in my house all day, every day, as you will hear in this episode. I thrive in the chaos and I enjoy the chaos, and watching kids grow up is like the biggest privilege of my life. It's the coolest thing in the world to watch them, continue to grow and develop and get these like hilarious little personalities, start to tell jokes, as you will also hear in this episode. It's the coolest thing in the world to get to watch them grow also, right? But it's also painful for me because I do enjoy the baby days and the little boy days so much. And like thinking about Mattis going to kindergarten just next year, and like, I don't know, 5 is big. That's a big number. So I'm a little sad, as you can hear. But I'm also so proud of the person he's becoming, and he's so cool and he's so funny. My entire 30s have been about motherhood. I had Mattis when I was 29, turned 30 a couple years later. So my 30s have been like wrapped up in motherhood, and will continue to be, as will my 40s probably. Which is like, if I had to define this decade so far, it's like becoming a mom, being a mom. Like that's what I've been so focused on. He teach me how to be like a new mom, like to care for a newborn, and literally we learned how to breastfeed together, and like do all of those important baby things, how to change a diaper and how to do that, how to properly hold a baby, how to put a baby down for a nap, like all of those things. Sure, like that's important. That felt so big at the time. But those firsts just continue forever. Like you think, okay, I'm out of the newborn phase. I'm like, I kind of got this now. No, you don't. Like it all keeps changing. Joining their first sports team, having their first, fights at school with their friends because, my friend didn't want to play with me today. All of those firsts, disagreements with their little brother, how to handle that, potty training, everything is a first with your first child. And then after that, you become, a pseudo expert in it. And so your second, your third, your fourth, however many kids you have, they all just get this much more experienced mother. And so Mattis will always, I've got his back so hard. I'm so obsessed with that kid, but he, for better or for worse, he gets the inexperienced version of me forever. Like I will never have dealt with like my kid falling in love for the first time, my kid like getting a bad grade on a test for the first time. He will be my first for all of those things. So anyway, that's happy birthday. Happy birthday, Mattis. I love you, you little monster. We're having some friends over for his birthday tonight, just his little best buddies from school, and then I'm taking him to New York City, his favorite place in the world. He's literally obsessed. Mattis has 2 godmothers. 2 of my best friends, Lily and Lexi, are both his godmothers. And Lexi lives in San Francisco and Lily lives in New York. And they are both like extremely doting godmothers. They're gifters. They are lovers. And so San Francisco and New York City are like his absolute happy places. Lily lives in New York. Lily's my best friend from boarding school, and she lives in New York City. And we went to visit her last March when she had a baby. It was like the craziest trip of our life. We took all 3 kids to New York City. Like, why? And it was kind of like hectic and hard to have all 3 kids there. but Mattis like loved it so much. It was just hard because he had his little brothers around too, so we didn't like get to do all the big kid stuff, and we weren't as flexible. And so he has been asking me for like 3 months for my birthday, Mom. All I want is to go to New York City to see Lily. And so we are going to New York City to see Lily, to see her baby, who's now almost 1. And so he'll be like more fun for Mattis to play with. Mattis loves babies. He's like so obsessed with Cash. He actually keeps begging me to bring Cash to New York for his birthday with him. And I'm like, dude, no, I'm just bringing you. So that's what we're doing for Mattis' birthday. Okay, good. I'm over the crying. So now I can talk about this week's guest, Caitlin Murray of Big Time Adulting fame. If you think you've never heard of Caitlin Murray, that is solely because her Instagram name is at Big Time Adulting, and it's not her own name. You have seen her hysterical, real, down to earth, but just like so. Sometimes she says exactly what is in my head about motherhood. She just shares like funny videos about parenting, basically. You've also seen her dancing like an absolute wild woman in her kitchen with like voiceovers about whatever is going through her head about parenting that day. She's incredibly relatable and fun and funny, and she's become a friend in this creator space, and I just adore her so much. She has been like a kind of, I don't want to say mommy blogger, but she's blogged about parenting stuff. Not really advice, but just like what it's really like for many years. But I think she really took off, and now she's in the millions of followers on Instagram when she started sharing these like quick, funny parenting videos that are just so relatable and incredible. We talk a lot about our journeys with damp January, whether or not you hate that term. It is what we are both doing. And just parenting. She has a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 4-year-old. So I feel like I have so much to learn from her about parenting older kids. Anyway, I cried so much about Mattis turning 5 that I feel like we should just get right into it. Caitlin's incredible. She's so funny and cool. Here she is. I'm so happy that we get to re-record because after we chatted last time, I was like, we should just be having weekly
I know.
summits, gut checks. How you doing? How are you surviving? And it also was so nice. After our last conversation, we ended up chatting for like another hour, and to have another woman in this like weird creator space, because we have no idea like how to value ourselves, like monetarily, financially. Like when somebody says, hey, can you post this? What's your rate? Like, I don't know. It's something that my manager is making up, and I don't know what she's basing it off of. So it's nice to,
Like what going rates are and like what you
what's a
can
going
kind of like
rate?
demand or whatever.
Yes. What
Yeah.
can I demand? And yeah, it's a funny, you worked in the corporate world after graduating, and so did I. And I'm so glad that I'm not there anymore, but it's the like not having coworkers is
Hmm.
like the hardest part about this job, right? Like
Yeah.
you've got people who like, we've got people who we pay, who are on our payroll to like help us with our businesses. We've got managers, we've got, agents. We have people helping us out, but there's nothing like just like a coworker
Yeah. It's
buddy.
different because like you're in the same line of actual creation and work and stuff
Yes.
like that. Yeah.
Yes.
It's good to have people to like banter with. It also like always makes me like think of things that I wasn't thinking of or like need to explore more or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to know you.
I feel the same way.
Before, when our recording just didn't work because I didn't know how to have a podcast yet, we were sharing Christmas things, and now it is January and we get to talk about January things.
It's so fun. It's so
What could be more fun than Christmas? January.
we're covering a lot of topics that only you and I will know all about, but
That's exactly right. Um, okay, will you please share with me a product that you are so into right now? You look excited.
I am excited to actually tell you about this product that I recently discovered. Who they actually like reached out and said, "Do you want to like us to send you some of our product?" And I don't always say yes to things because I just like don't like want more shit in my house. Like
When we get the package, when the packages are rolling in, George is like, please make it stop. Sounds so ungrateful, but like you got to say no.
And I'm always just like, I feel like my like plight in life is just trying to get rid of shit all the
Yes.
time. Like, what shit
Yes.
can I get rid of around here? Um, but they said that it's called Gem Daily Essentials, I think. I don't know if you
Ooh.
know this. They're like
No.
vitamin that you like, it's like an edible type of a vitamin. It's
Yeah.
like got all of these nutrients in it, and it comes in this like little square. There's like turmeric and ginger and all these other vitamins in there, but um it comes in like a square that very much looks like it was made from turmeric and ginger, and
Okay. Okay. It looks healthy.
it looks healthy, and it like it's not sweet, but it's like weirdly really satisfying, and I just feel like I'm
Is it
doing
a gummy or a chewy? Flintstone or gummy?
here. No, it's like
What?
it's almost like a God, like almost like a protein ball type of texture, but it's in a cube.
Oh.
It's very unusual. Yeah. Um,
Is it like a tasty snack or you like pop it in the morning like a
yeah,
vitamin?
no,
Not a
like you're
snack.
not supposed to eat more than three in a day. I
Okay, okay.
eat one a day,
Yeah.
but like it's weirdly a little bit filling for like a tiny morsel. Um,
I'm intrigued.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting paid to talk about these people. I don't have
Yeah.
um affiliation with them right now, although maybe I will after this.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say. I'll send them this podcast.
they sent me some and I went through them, and so I just bought some myself because I really am so into them right now.
Digging it. Yeah, it's so nice when you discover like a health product, something that makes you like feel a little better that you actually like your mind and your body actually like crave and want to do. It
Yeah.
took me a while, and AG1 does pay me, but they're not paying for this. I'm an AG1 lover and they're one of my partners now that I love it. But when I first started doing it, like it's a green drink that you drink every day, right? And it has like all this good stuff for you. And when I first started taking it, I very much had to like remind myself, but now I like crave it. I'm like, I haven't done my AG1 yet. And I have a babysitter who comes almost every day to help me with the baby for a few hours. And I like make it for both of us every morning. And like she loves it and is feeling so great. And it's like, it's the best. Okay, well, AG1 is not my product of the week that I'm into. My product of the week, you wouldn't know it from the mane of hair that you're currently looking at, but I have somehow successfully managed to run out of hairbands. There's not a hairband in the house. There's not a hairband in any of my like gym bags, not a purse. There is not a hairband to be found. So yesterday I've my like 2024 like you do you Caroline thing. This is like the first year I haven't had a child or been pregnant or breastfeeding and in like 5 years or something. And so I was like, okay, like what do you want to like really dedicate to be like your you thing? And so I've been playing tennis again. I used to play tennis, got totally out of it when I got pregnant with Cash because I couldn't freaking move because my hips hurt so bad. And so I've been playing tennis. And I showed up to tennis yesterday completely hairbandless because I'm just so used to if there's not one on my wrist, there's at least one in my bag. Like there are no hairbands in my entire life anymore. And so this woman lent me one and it's called a Slip. Slip is the brand. Have you ever heard of it?
I'm writing this down right now as we
Ah,
speak. No, I
like
never.
I'll send you one. I'll send a pack to you as penance for making you come on my podcast twice in 1 month. Okay, Slip is the brand. She got them at Sephora. I took it out of my because she was like, I will give you this hairband, but you have to give it back. Like they're like $5 a hairband, and I was like, completely understand. There's nothing like losing your favorite hairband to a stranger at a tennis clinic. So I was like, got it. So after the tennis clinic, I take it out, hand it back to her. I go straight to Sephora because she's like, they're from Sephora. I go straight there. There are no hairbands at Sephora, maybe online, but not in the store. So I've now ordered them. You can find them on Amazon. It is the perfect amount of stretch. It's wrapped in, I mean, it says silk, but I'm sure it's, some bullshit material actually. But it's like silky feeling, super stretchy, but not. It's like probably a 3 or a 4 wrap hairband. You were a college athlete. You are now a mom. You understand like that there are good hairbands in this world and there are bad hairbands in this world, and whether your hairband is good or bad could really like make or break your day.
I like it. I'm going to get a little nuanced about hairbands here.
Yes.
Like, I like it when you wrap a hairband that has good elasticity around a little bit more because this is going to sound so silly, but like, I kind of like the way it looks when it makes your ponytail like pop out a little bit more because
Yes.
it makes you kind of look like you have more hair.
Yes. Like when it comes out of like straight out of your head, out of your skull.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
You need these. I know exactly what you mean. So, yeah, like when you have the one that like only wraps around twice and then there's like a little bit of extra slack and you can't get it that third time, does that and your ponytail's just weeping down the back of your head all for forget it. So this was like I did a whole tennis clinic and it was a cute, just great hairband. I was like, where have these been hiding my whole life? She was like, you've never heard of these? I was like, no, I've never heard of these. Stranger at tennis clinic. Thank you for introducing me to them. So I'm telling you, slip hairbands, everybody go buy stock in slip hairbands.
You need to be getting affiliate links for all of
I know. I'll affiliate link in the podcast notes.
Yeah.
Please click it and fund Caitlin's and my next vacation together. Okay, what is the non-product focused thing that you're into right now? What's going on in your life? What are you into?
Yeah, speaking of January, the non-product thing that I'm kind of into is not dry, but kind of damp.
Damp.
A damp January. I don't
Mm-hmm.
put too many restrictions on myself in any capacity. But yeah, after the holiday season, I really crushed it. I always do.
Crushed
Um,
it.
I felt like I loved every minute of it. Like I just like let my hair down for 3 solid weeks, it felt like, and I was just, eating all the treats and
Uh-huh.
drinking all the drinks whenever I felt like
Mm-hmm.
there was no like, oh, it's a Tuesday, I'm not going to have a drink tonight. I was like, well, it's the holidays.
It's
So
the Tuesday during the holiday season. I'm gonna have 4.
an eggnog or something like that. Um, so January, I've been really digging it. I did like a
Yep.
longer stretch last week than I'm used to doing, I should say. And then I read this, my neighbor who's doing dry January sent me this article of this like new trend, I guess, whatever. It's like a week, a month dry,
Okay, that I can do.
like 3 months at the end of the year of dryness. And so like, okay, but then I'm gonna back this up one more time because I feel like a week is also, I guess if you start on a Sunday, you get a full weekend out of whatever,
Yeah.
like or Monday or something. You could go to Monday to Monday. But I kind of like starting on a Sunday and just taking it to Saturday. And then just like maybe having a couple drinks on a Saturday and then
Yeah.
call from there, just like, so maybe it's not the full week, it's 6 days, but I feel like that's a good stretch in between.
This could have been the thing that I am into too. I have also been dabbling with dampness this
Yes,
January.
I saw on that you were doing that. How do you feel?
Oh my god, it feels so great. I like you. I don't like to put too many restrictions on myself. I used to be I still like the idea of a whole 30, but it's just not for me anymore right now in my life. Like I've got enough shit between the kids and work and I don't need to like restrict my diet. Like if I'm hungry, I need to be able to pick up a pretzel and eat it and not like feel guilt about that.
Yeah.
Just eat the snack.
I'm just gonna have this motherfucking empty calorie right now.
I'm gonna eat this empty fucking calorie. I'm gonna be hungry again in 5 minutes, and I don't give a fuck. Just let me eat this pretzel. It's fine. Okay, so I, like you, don't like to put too many restrictions on myself. So George, my husband, was like, let's do a dry January. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, here's the thing I would like to have a drink at. You're going camping in Big Sur with the kids. You're going to want to have some fire beers. Mattis's birthday, we basically throw like a party for our friends who happen to be the parents of his friends. Like, I was like, absolutely not. I'm going to New York. Like, no, we're not going to be dry, but let's just be intentional. So what we did to like, because we need like some rules if we're gonna we need like some parameters. Like when am I not drinking? Like you're doing I love the Sunday to Saturday. We are doing because during the holidays, like you, we're in a real high noon phase right now. Do you know the brand?
See, we're on that, but like not in the winter months because it's too.
It makes no sense. It's like you're on a boat in like a lake, but no, you're in your house and it's raining outside and your kids are like watching Paw Patrol. It's a weird it's a weird thing that we're into, but we're like really on this high noon kick. We've like gotten all of our friends onto a high noon kick. So like now anytime we hang out with our friends, like everyone shows up with packs of high noons. But during the holidays, which again, like least we were like single-handedly keeping high noon in business during the holidays. Like we would have like, you could have like 3, 4 high noons and they're super low alcohol,
Yeah,
tasty. If you've never had them, listeners, they're basically like a Spindrift or a LaCroix with vodka. Like White Claw has like malt liquor. These are actual vodka. Yeah, these are
yeah,
actual vodka. So they're super tasty. You know, you can have 3 and not feel hungover. So yeah, we were just like, he'd get home from work and we'd like crack open some high noons and like that, you just don't need alcohol in your system all the time. Like we all know it's not good for us. It doesn't make us operate at max capacity. Like we know that's not good. So I was like, what if we just don't drink in the house? Like that's our parameter, because we like go out to dinner with friends a lot. We go out to dinner with the kids with friends. We go over to friends' houses probably 2 or 3 times a week. So I was like, what if our
mhm,
thing is that we just don't drink in the walls of this house for January, except for Mattis's birthday? And so that's what we've been doing, and it's awesome. And like we live in Carmel Valley, so there's like beautiful vineyards all around us. So we'll like meet after school and go have like one glass of wine there. But then when we get back here, we don't do the thing that we usually do when we've gone to the vineyard and come back home, which is then have 2 more glasses of wine, because once you're rolling, you're rolling. So that's been
yeah,
our damp journey. We haven't been like setting weekday parameters. We've just been setting geographical parameters.
yeah. So I usually when I am home during the week, it's like I never really drink at home during the week
Yeah.
when I'm on my own. Now, if we have no plans on a weekend and we are home, I that's like my actually favorite time to enjoy like a nice glass of wine.
Yes.
Like I know what bottle I'm opening, I know
Uh-huh.
like what I'm gonna get there. And it's like relaxed and I'm
Yeah.
thinking about that drink and like, like not just drinking it, like
Yeah.
in that
Yeah, yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
But
Totally. Like it's a full experience. It's not just
yeah, it's not just drinking to drink.
yeah.
Like and then yeah, but so I'm going to Miami this weekend. So I'm definitely gonna have a couple pops while
Just a
I'm
couple.
so just a couple.
What's the Miami trip?
I'm going to visit my cousin. He moved there
Oh,
a year and a half from LA and he's just like he's my fun gay cousin. I mean, he was like the man of honor in my wedding and stuff. So I haven't gone to the place yet, and this is the visit.
there's nobody that I party harder with than with my cousins.
Oh, cousins are just yeah,
I have like my I've probably talked about this like 20 times on the podcast because I'm obsessed with my cousins. My grandmother was an identical twin. And so those two, they each had 5 kids and they each had a bunch of kids. So I have like 14 real like best friend female cousins, and then we also love the boys, but like the girls, we chat like nonstop all day long on like a group chat. We get together several times a year. Like these are my best friends. And I truly don't. We go bananas when we're together because we're just so excited.
yeah. He gets so excited.
You
I
get so
know.
excited, and you're like, just anytime you see my drink empty, just bring more. And then why did I do that?
I know. Why did I do that?
Just get
Yeah.
so excited sometimes. You just want to feel that drunk ass cousin energy. There's nothing like it.
It's fun when you save it for like those
Yes.
occasions, right? When you
Yes.
like really want to rip it.
That is a very good point. I probably rip it like 3 times a year,
Yeah.
maybe 5. But like
Maybe, yeah, maybe, no, I mean, not two, not one, two, maybe me
maybe
too.
2. No, yeah.
Yeah, more than two.
It's a rare rip when you are the mother of young children, and man, it feels so good in the moment and it feels so bad the next day, but it's still worth
Well,
it.
it's funny, like it doesn't take much to also feel like you ripped it the night before when you didn't rip it.
Uh-huh. And sometimes like I can have two glasses of wine one night and two glasses the next night, and the hangover is a complete, and I'm like, what did I do differently? What did I do to deserve this? I'm like tracing my steps like a detective, trying to figure out how I landed in this horrible hangover.
I know, I do the same thing. I actually like I think about alcohol intake a lot. Like it which I think is like not the right thing that you're supposed to be thinking about. I don't know. But or
Think
maybe
about whatever we want to think about.
it's more of it. I'm just so scared of the power of alcohol because I've had so many like family members and things like that not be able to drink anymore. And
Yeah.
just I don't want to go down that road. I want to be able to continue to moderately.
Always make it be a fun rip,
Yeah.
not a scary rip. Okay, my thing that I'm into, I am really into Damn January, but my thing that I'm really into is getting the kids. Okay, so George and I, but took them camping this weekend. He
Hmm.
like stays the night and sleeps there, and I just bop in. This is probably the fourth time we've done this. I just bop in for like the fun daytime part. We go out to lunch or whatever, and then like I help them set up the camp. We play around the campsite, and then I skedaddle out of there before I'm expected to sleep on the ground. And the kids, my kids are, I have three boys, but the big kids are, Mattis is almost 5, Callum is 3. And when they're in the walls of this house, they are at each other's throats 90% of the time. Like they're obsessed with each other. They're best friends. Like I see the friendship, but also they are like the Bickersons. They are just, Callum, that's my toy. And I'm like, Mattis, you haven't seen that toy in 7 months. Why can't he play with it? Like there's just, it's nonstop bickering. And now they're getting really physical. Like they are on top of each other, nonstop wrestling. And when we take them camping, we noticed it a little bit last time, but really this time they're just older. So we noticed it more, like no complaining. Like they, in this at home, they don't eat burgers, but George was like, well, I am taking them camping and I'm cooking them burgers. And they like devoured them with no complaints. They never once asked for an iPad or TV. They did not, George said they did not fight a single time. Like they like held hands and they adventured. So it's something about the outdoors, like the outdoors bring out the best in kids. And so that's what I'm really into right now. It's also the thing that I'm out on is not being able to replicate that in my own home. I try, I say the TV is broken. We have to be outside. And they're like, no, we hate it outside. And I'm like, what? You just went. Do you have this with your kids where like they act like angels in one geography and then demons in another?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess here's the thing. I'm not like so my kids are a little older, but also I go mine go boy, girl, boy. And so I maybe there's not all of that male energy like to wrestle. My daughter's a scrapper. She would get in there, but then the little guy's like he's only 4 and my oldest is 10. So it's like they're not really like
Like it
fight.
would be weird.
Yeah, like if there's any like bickering that goes on it's
Uh-huh.
between my middle and my youngest, and they can go
Okay.
at it with each other. But even at that, it's an 8-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy. So I
Right.
feel like it's a different dynamic. Probably is helpful to my sanity.
Yes. So the lesson here is have a girl between your boys. That's what I'm understanding. And hindsight's 2020. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot,
Things that we don't have control over.
biology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying I can't control it. Yeah, it's funny. I feel like a lot of people though have this thing where their kids will act really well behaved, you know, at the park or I mean, school for God's sake. I pick the kids up and the teachers are like, "Oh, they are angels." And I'm like, "Who?" Who was an angel? And then we get home and it's back to like da 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 da. But yeah, you spread your kids out a little bit more than I did. You have a 10, 8, and 4.
Yeah.
and you stuck that girl in the middle.
Yeah, the
I got to
good.
get one of those.
You gotta get or are you gonna get one more? Are you gonna get
Ugh, in my dream. So this has been a I George was getting a vasectomy December 19th, the day after his birthday. Why do I remember the exact day, you ask? Because we went out on his birthday and had a few margaritas because it was not a damp time that December 18th. And I had been basically like slowly trying to convince him. Like he would bring it up. He was by no means getting a vasectomy like behind my back. It was on the calendar. He kept trying to have like a sit down conversation about the fact that he wanted to do this. And, you know, there's a lot of, I'm not on birth control. Like, there's a lot of reasons why a vasectomy makes sense. He does not want a fourth kid. I do not want to not have the potential of a fourth kid. And I finally managed in the seventh hour, is that the expression? In the final inning, I finally convinced him, like, listen, I am not going to get pregnant. I just like I'm gonna get the IUD or something, which I've never done and I'm very scared of. I'm gonna go on an IUD or something because the potential, just the idea of not being able to have more kids was freaking me the fuck out. Like I was having such bad anxiety. I was so sad about it. Like I sat at his birthday dinner just like crying and he was like, "Okay, God, fine, I'll cancel it." It was just the idea of not having the ability.
Yeah. I would have really sick to go to a vasectomy hungover, I bet, too.
What was he thinking?
I don't know. Bad scheduling.
That would have been a horrible. I think maybe he had more margaritas as he realized that I was going to talk him out of it. But yeah, no, we had many margaritas on his birthday, and I eventually.
I get the idea of like not wanting it to not be an option. But
Yeah. Did
yeah.
your husband have? Did he get a vasectomy?
No, but I had my tubes removed after my third because I had C-sections with all of them, and so I'm done.
So
But
you had your tubes removed not because there was like an issue in childbirth, but to not to because you
yeah,
knew.
I really knew I was done. I
I
really
am so jealous. Can you talk to me about how did you, and before you'd even brought the third baby home, you knew.
yeah.
Are you type A? How did you know this?
I am not type A, but I definitely, I mean, we had been through a lot. We had
Yeah.
already gone through 3 years of cancer treatment. Then it was the
Yep.
pandemic, and
Yep. Your oldest had cancer
get
and
to
is cancer free.
yeah, and he's doing great now. So it
Yeah.
get to even the third was like a huge mountain for me to climb.
Yeah.
And, I was so happy to have done it, and it's like I always will say like it's the greatest accomplishment of my life. But I really knew I was done after that. And I'm like at the time I was 36, about to turn 37 when I had him. And I think that I just knew like in 2 years or whatever, what I would just be, closer to 40 and just not in a place where I would want to be getting pregnant again. And rolling the dice, like every time you have a baby, you're rolling the dice. You never know. Obviously, there are no guarantees in life. And I think I just was like, okay, I did this. He's here. I'm good.
Yeah. So in on the operating table, you baby comes out and they continue to do work and
Mhm.
tubes out.
Yeah. Right before the C-section happens, the doctor was like, by the way, this is your third C-section. Like there could be a good amount of like scarring in there. We don't know if we're going to be able to get to the tubes. It might be like a little bit more risky. And in that case, like Mike, you're definitely having a vasectomy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
You Mike had then put Mike on the table.
yeah. So
Take me off.
when after they were like at the end of having like gotten the baby out and like finishing up whatever the hell they do and
Whatever the hell they do.
whatever the hell goes on in there. Um, but we were like, did you get them? And Mike was like,
You're holding your baby.
yes, I don't have to do the vasectomy. But
I'm
I
off.
mean, it's like one day, like outpatient, no big
Yes.
deal.
Oh my God. No big deal. And men act like it's childbirth. Yeah, I obviously don't envy the experience that you went through with Callum, but I am so envious that you felt so resolute. Like you felt so sure. This is my family. I'm happy. These are my people. Because George is in your camp. He is like, I've got my three boys. Like, this is our family. he also he really thinks like I have no more love left to give. He's like, I am giving all I've got. Like I'm at max capacity, and I just don't feel that way. I'm like, give me another. Keep
Wow.
him coming. Like if he wanted five, we would be having five kids. But
Really?
because I'm like obsessed. I want this house like
Are you like a very calm, like patient person?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm like, oh my God, you're all driving me crazy. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. I don't know where that comes from. Uh I am. And George is pretty chill too, but he definitely has breaking points. Like the other day, he was looking at like they were all just like jumping on him and he just had just gone completely nonverbal and I was like, "Take a walk. You go." Like I got that cuz like when they're really apeshit and crazy, like yeah, sure, there are times when but it's when something else is really stressing me out that the kids stress me out. If I'm in a good place and they're being apeshit bananas crazy, I genuinely am unfazed by it, which is lucky, but I don't know. I just I gotta figure out. I want to feel like, okay, this is my family, I'm done, and I'm just not there yet. At least the vasectomy is not happening. So there's George is a loyal listener of this podcast. He's gonna call me immediately and be like, the vasectomy's back on, you promised. I don't know. I'm so envious of women who because I do think women have a harder time knowing, okay, I'm done than men do. And
Mhm.
I'm envious. I'm envious that you knew. That was a good
Yeah,
job.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's like one of those things. I think maybe if I had been younger when I had
Yeah,
Lukey, then maybe I would have been open. But I don't know. I don't know.
I
Three's
know.
good. It's a lot of kids.
Three is so many kids. The logistics of it are the one thing. Like we live in this like small 2,000 square foot house. Like we're packed to the gills in here. That doesn't bother me. I'm like, add another bunk bed. Like we're good. Jam them in. The logistics of more than three really
Mm.
gets dicey. Like you know better than I do because we're in like very optional if you don't show up to baseball practice nobody cares sports life, but like I have three boys, there will be sports or fingers crossed like some musical theater or freaking something. There's just like so many places to drive and so many drop offs. I was talking to my neighbor the other night. I was on a walk with Cash the baby at like 5 o'clock at night, and her son was being picked up to go to basketball practice. I was like, it's almost bedtime. What's he doing? She was like, oh yeah, freshman, and like he has basketball practice at 7 o'clock at night some nights. I was like, what the fuck? So you're picking someone up from basketball practice at 9 o'clock at night. Four of them times four?
A Saturday too, by the way.
Right.
Like it doesn't. Yeah, it's crazy.
We have friends who have older kids, and their entire Saturdays are from 8 a.m. to sundown, the different sports of all their three kids.
Yeah, it happens. It happens fast. I don't mind it like actually when it's in like at the beginning of the season. By the end of a season, I'm like, all right, I'm ready for a break and moving on to the next season or whatever we're doing next. But I kind of like it like fun. It's like built in stuff to do. It's fun to watch your kids play, especially as they start to like get the hang of things. If that's
Yeah, when I had like a 2-year-old and I was watching older friends do this hustle, I was like, that's horrible. Like your whole weekend is taken up by your kids' activities. But now my friends, the people I really love hanging out with, are my son's son's friends' parents. And so when we have functions at the school or when I volunteer to like cater a lunch at the school, it's not like, oh, you're such a good mom. I mean, it's like it's fun. Like I genuinely show up and I'm like hanging out with my friends for 2 hours. I never could have anticipated having like the friendships that I do with my kids' friends' parents. You think like, oh, I'm 34, like I've got my friends. I know who my friends are. I'm good. And then having kids really opens up this like whole new potential friend pool and makes it
yeah,
so much more fun.
yeah, it's a cool thing.
It's a cool thing. Okay. What are you out on right now?
What am I out on? I'm out on the stomach bug, number one.
Yeah.
It's just so terrifying when it hits your
Yeah.
house, and there are more people
How
who
many went down with this one?
just so far one.
Oh, that's even scarier.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Yeah, not.
I'm not sleeping on it. It's the stomach. Don't sleep on the stomach bug because it
It'll get you.
it'll come back to bite you. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm down on extremes. I'm down on like extremist thinking, extremist behaviors, extremist anything. I'm just like, can we all just meet in the middle? Like,
Tell me more. What are you thinking of when you say that?
everything, like extreme, well, I mean, like going back to damp January, like
Yes.
extreme restrictions on either diet or exercise
Yes.
or nutrition or like, counting your macros, things like that. I'm out on extreme politics. I'm out on extreme mindsets, stuff like that. I'm just like, I feel like extreme is closed.
Good one. Yeah, extreme is close. Extreme is like how we political is like how we landed in this situation of like nobody listens to each other anymore. It's like one way or the highway. It even, I mean, it happens to me. This is such a smaller, stupider example, but a funny one. When I share a recipe that's like Italian inspired, people freak or French inspired or whatever. This is not risotto. Risotto is blah 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 blah. This is, and I'm like, why do you care? What is, are you okay? That's a very me focused example of extremism, but where you're just like, what
Like
the fuck are you talking?
in the culinary world,
Yeah.
getting really possessive over what you're calling things. Like,
Possessive is such a good word. It's like, yeah, like why can't this be a recipe inspired by that recipe? You're like, you're fine. Relax. Everybody relax. Yeah, that's a good one. Extremism is exhausting, and extremists, people who are so in that mindset, I'm especially on thinking politics right now, there's no leeway. Like there's no, they won't have a conversation and hear perspectives, and that's like scary.
yeah, it is scary. It's one of the scariest things I think in our country right now. We need less scissors, more glue.
Less scissors, more glue.
Mm.
That's a very good mom way of putting it. I already said what I'm out on. I'm out on my kids just like being lovely little people outside of my home and then not giving me their best when they're in these walls. And like, I don't know if it's that I need to just like get rid of TVs because TVs really make them monsters, but like TV is also when my husband and I get to chat with each
Yeah,
other. So it's hard.
I don't think there's any like again, no extremes here. Like getting rid of, screen. Um, I think like that stuff is like definitely a useful like sanity saving tool a lot of the time. But like, yeah, there's obviously like sometimes I think it's different per kid. Like some kids like can handle a long time sitting in front of the screen and like transition away from it okay and not explode or like be, whatever crazy when they get away from the screen and other kids can't.
Yeah.
Um,
Mine can't. And so then I try to limit it and then they still can't. Like it's
yeah.
like anytime the TV goes away
Do
is
you,
monsters.
I'm not big on parenting advice, but do you
Give it to
do,
me.
this isn't even advice, just like what do you say? A warning, like a 10 minute, like 5 minute warning?
It's so effective with my 5-year-old, and it kind of has been for years with him. He's very type A. He's very first child. Like he's the textbook first child. My 3-year-old, my middle, is like, go to hell, mom.
Yeah.
Middle fingers in
I'll
there.
tell you
Like,
when this 5 minutes is up type thing.
I'll tell you when 5 minutes is up. It's up tomorrow morning. So he's, middle children, 3-year-olds are just tricky. But that's what I'm out on. It's just like we're in a hard at home phase. So we try to stay out of the house a lot. And I don't know, we have fun. We go on fun adventures, but sometimes after school, I'm like, I just want to go home and veg out. But you guys might murder each other if that's what I do. There will be blood.
Sometimes I think too, like in our house, like when my husband's home, like when it's the weekends and everybody's in the house together, I think the commotion tends to like get to him a little bit more, and then it stresses me out more. I feel me that I'm like I can kind of compartmentalize it or block it out a little bit better.
Oh my gosh, totally. My friends and I were talking about this because George was just away for work for a week. My friend's husband's going to be away. Sometimes parenting by yourself is easier, not because it's actually easier. It's so much harder, but because you're not having to take care of that other person's feelings and how they're doing.
Yeah, it's one less person that you're thinking. Yeah.
Which makes our husbands sound like babies, and I know neither of our husbands are. They both rock.
They say, I think they probably feel the same way about it. Like, I refer to you like on the weekends. So like I feel like you know what you want to do throughout the day and whatever, and kind of like do what you're going to do. But it probably drives him a little crazy just to be like a puppet in my scheme of what we're doing too, like, so he might be like, it would just be easier if I was in charge of everything. But since I'm the one who's here most of the time, I take the lead. And
we were planning Mattis's 5th birthday party last night, which will be the day that this podcast airs, and January 24th. And we were planning it. And I was like, well, we're going to have, his 3 best friends over, and that's it. Like he just wants, I was like, I just want a really like simple dinner. Like he wants it on his birthday. So after school, we'll have, his 3 best friends over and their parents, and that's it. And George was like, I want to have these people over and those people over. Like they love Mattis too. And I was like, nope, just keeping it super simple. And he was like, do you hear yourself? I was like, wow. Oh, do I? And that's the example of like, we are the designated parent. And so we think of ourselves as sometimes as like the boss of the house, and like they are too.
they're also people.
They are also allowed to have say on their 5-year-old's 5th birthday party. What is your IRL LOL of the week? Something that made you laugh really hard in real life this week.
This is funny. I feel like this is going to make me sound like such a serial killer. Sometimes things don't like make me LOL so much, but you know what I LOL at is when other people are LOLing. Like I love when somebody else like lose their shit laughing. It makes me laugh so much.
Couldn't agree more. There are creators I follow on Instagram and TikTok who just have the best laughs, and like that's basically why I follow them. They like do funny shit and they laugh at themselves, and like there's yep.
You know who does that all the time? Jimmy Fallon. He's always laughing at himself. I love
best example.
So cute.
So cute. So endearing.
Yeah. So I was at night before bed, my husband and I are like there, like always just scrolling whatever and looking at funny videos and passing them back and forth, like DMing them next to each other while we're sitting next to each other. And there was this one like this week where you're getting like the shoulder shaped laugh out of Mike, and I was just laughing so hard at
him laughing.
Like, what are you laughing at? So
it's so funny to watch other people laugh. Have you ever watched? I'm sure you've seen it on Instagram, unless you have no interest in Taylor Swift, in which case maybe you haven't. The Kelsey Brothers podcast, has it ever popped up in your sphere?
I've seen it pop up.
New Heights podcast. They get each other going sometimes, and when they're both laughing, it absolutely kills me. And I'm literally sitting there watching a football podcast, like cracking up, and I'm like, how did you get here, Caroline? How did this happen? Okay, that's such a good one. There's nothing like watching somebody else like really just LOL. Mine, okay, so Mattis is like, and Callum are just really potty talk phase, like poo poo pee pee. Like if you want to make them laugh, all you have to say is like a poo poo pee pee on my head, and they'll like die laughing, and you're like, all right, well that was a lob, but I'll take it. Mattis is like starting to like, when they like start to kind of know when they're being naughty a little bit. So he like walks in on George naked the other day, and George's like, what's up? And Mattis goes, ooh, cute little vagina. And George was like, what? Why did you say that? And Mattis was like, I'm just saying you have such a cute little vagina. And like, he's like looking at me. Mattis is like looking at me, making these eyes like, this is something really naughty I said. Like, I'm being really naughty right now, but also I'm so funny. And I was like, in that type of laughter where, I don't know, it was just like a really funny time for him to be saying this. I was like in that kind of laugh where you like can't even make a noise.
Like, like where yes, I love that kind of
yeah. And George was not laughing. Like George did not think that was funny. He was like, this is a penis. Big old penis.
I'm your father.
I'm your father. This is a penis, not a vagina. And it was just like so, because Mattis, when the kid like knows they're being funny and like they get in on the joke with you, chef's kiss.
That's like one of the best parts of having kids is like watching
Yes.
their little sense of humor develop.
Yes, it's really, Mattis is really, I mean, Callum's also getting really funny, but it's more like poo poo pee poo. Like he like makes a lot of noises and does weird shit. Mattis is getting like funny. Like he's like, I'm making a joke on purpose right now to make you laugh. And we're like, yes, you are. What do you cook when you don't feel like cooking for all of the little monsters running around your house all the time? You've had a busy day. What are you doing?
Since we did this once already, I had said pasta, that I'll just like
Yes.
throw in pasta because my kids will all just eat pasta happily. I feel like not every night, like they couldn't eat it every night, but they could eat it a lot without complaining. So pasta is another one though, that like if I would want to eat the meal too, like 'cause I don't always feel like having pasta that much. Breakfast for dinner.
Oh, and what do you do? Is it eggy or pancakey?
Scrambled eggs and toast. Yeah, like stuff like that. Or and I'll get like some sort of a breakfast type meat to go along with it. Maybe some, chicken sausages or.
Oh my God, and it takes 10 minutes.
It's so easy.
Why do I never do that? My big kids aren't big egg guys, which is frustrating.
They'll get there.
Eggs are the best protein in the world. Take 2 seconds to cook. They're delicious.
I eat eggs like through the week, probably.
Oh yeah. Okay, wait. One of my favorite things right now is whenever you talk on Instagram about like how cooking for your family every single day, like how did nobody warn us for this? All of the funny shit that you say about how hard it is to cook for your family every day, that my followers now like tag me in your posts, or like I'll comment and be like hello, and then they all like it because I pop up, I guess, as like the top comment for people who follow both of us. Have you cooked a single one of my recipes ever?
Yes.
What did you cook?
So I cooked your farro risotto.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I want to send you one that I just like know all 3 of your kids will love.
I've actually cooked a few. I've been inspired by more than like a bunch of your recipes, like scrolling through, like, oops, save that, look at that, back at that, and I might not like go back and follow it like to.
But you're like, oh, peanut noodle.
General idea, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I forget which one you shared for my soul snacks.
Oh yeah. What was that? Was it orzo with shrimp?
Yes, the shrimp orzo. Yes. So I made that too. Yeah. Yes. I love your recipes.
Yes. I love soul snacks. I'm trying to convince Caitlin to bring soul snacks over to Substack because I think it would just thrive. It's coming, really.
Yeah, like the next issue is going to be on Substack.
It's going to be so good there. It makes so much sense there. It's like such a great community place where people can comment. Okay, so everybody, when Soul Snacks makes its way, also you should just check it out now. If you go to her Instagram, Big Time Adulting, you can check it out. It's the link it's one of the links in your bio, I'm sure. All right, you have to go pick up your kids. Thank you for coming on So Into That again.
Thank you for having me. I would do this with you every day.
Let's do it every day. Talk soon.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye.